You're listening to Tech Talks, the new podcast from Broadcast Tech. My name's Jake Bickerton, and I'm the editor of Broadcast Sport and Broadcast Tech magazines. Welcome to Broadcast Tech Talks podcast number 7. Today we're talking to Eurosport UK Senior Director of Production and Broadcast Jamie Steward and snooker legend Ronnie O'Sullivan about Eurosport's 2 weeks of snooker programming to replace what would have been the World Snooker Championship. It begins on Saturday, the 18th of April, and involves fan-chosen archive reruns of classic snooker matches and a new series of vodcasts from Ronnie and some other snooker players, I believe, as well. We'll talk to Ronnie about these shortly, but first over to Jamie. I want to ask a very broad question to start off with, Jamie, which is what has been Eurosport's programming strategy so far to deal with the fact that obviously no live sports are happening at the moment?
The objective has been no different to business as usual in terms of trying to deliver the most compelling sports coverage, but obviously the key live ingredient missing. We've tackled it in 3 main areas, if you like. One, delving into our archives to show some of the greatest sporting moments, and whether that's Olympics, which we can go right back to Barcelona 1992, or whether it's Wimbledon Classic final, or in the case of the snooker, a historic match from the Crucible. So we're really looking to delve into the archive as much as possible and relive some really nostalgic moments from yesteryear. Second point would be trying to look at original content. We've been working with Ronnie on a number of vodcasts, which will also run on our linear channel across the course of what would have been the 17 days of the World Championships. And then the third point, I guess from a content strategy point of view, is also in the esports space. We rolled out the Tour of Flanders virtual race, and we're just looking to explore that and see opportunities there might be in that space.
Have you done much esports in the past on Eurosport?
Certainly not on linear, but this does present a time where we've got opportunity and airtime available to test a few areas. I can't go into too much detail just yet, but certainly the Tour of Flanders was one we trialled, and we're looking to leverage some further content across the next month to 2 months, I would say.
With the snooker, got a couple of things, fantastic finals, which I guess does what it says on the tin. You've got player power, and then you have something called You Say We Play, which has this social interaction link with a Twitter poll, I believe, that is being used to enable people to choose the matches they want to see again from your archives?
Again, we wanted to dedicate Eurosport 1's schedule to snooker for all our hardcore snooker fans across the course of the World Championships. And we've taken a lot of time in going through the historical great matches and lifting some out for the 10 o'clock in the morning sessions and the 2:30 in the afternoon session. For the evenings, we wanted to give the audience the opportunity to select the match that they'd like to watch. So as you say, each day there'll be a Twitter poll. The viewers can go and vote for one of 3 matches that are available to watch that evening at 7 o'clock, where the live evening session would have been. So we're just hoping that creates a bit of social engagement and allows viewers to choose what they'd like to watch.
And with the other sports that you've done so far to plug the gap, the Super Saturday rerun, you had Greg Rutherford involved in that as well. Did you bring in social into that?
Yeah, we did. I mean, that was a fairly last-minute decision off the back of Tokyo being postponed earlier in the week to try and put some sort of positive light on the week from an Olympics perspective. Greg Rutherford's part of our presentation team for Tokyo. So we talked with him to see what we could do. And the obvious one from an Olympic standpoint was to look back at London 2012 and Super Saturday. That week, we ran the full sort of 90 minutes of the Rutherford, Ennis and Mo Farah evening, but also had Greg on board live tweeting throughout the evening. It was actually the first time he'd ever watched the coverage back. So it's actually really interesting to see his reaction. And he really engaged with all the fans and got some great pickup throughout the course of the evening.
And is there any plans for any presenter-led content presenting archive material?
For the British Superbikes, which was due to go live at the weekend from Silverstone, we actually worked with our sort of resident presenter, Matt Roberts, and the rest of the talent lineup, so Shane Byrne, James Whittam and James Hayden, and created a half an hour season preview, if you like, for as and when the championship does get underway. We worked with reporter Rachel Stringer, who opened up an Instagram live page and really tried to pull in audience through digital platforms.
What about sports docs? Do you have any sort of in your archive that you're looking to rerun?
Probably the best example in terms of docs and in terms of the general content we might produce will be for around the Giro d'Italia, where we're looking to have a Giro Heroes to almost create the ultimate Giro across the 21 days of when the Giro would have taken place, and combining that with GCN Global Cycling Network, introducing some of the documentaries that those guys have already produced, supply more content across the Eurosport linear feed.
And do you have a feel for how the viewers are finding the content you're putting out at the moment?
Well, that's where, again, we're having to work with the likes of Ronnie to really push on the social platforms, because viewers are more likely to know when a live event might take place. So we've got to be more aggressive with our promotional strategy across all platforms, really, to ensure the audience are aware of some of the content and the creative ideas that we've been trying to push through over the last week or two.
That brings us nicely to you, Ronnie. Could you start by telling me a bit about the vodcast you're doing?
Yeah, it was just an idea that the guys come up with just to talk about parts of my career and rivalries. So it's just a good sort of chat that me and Andy had, and hopefully the snooker fans will enjoy what we had to say in that.
Is there a particular theme for each one?
Yeah, I think it was like who are my idols growing up, starting out in the game, and then obviously the different rivalries was another one. So like obviously with Stephen Hendry, John Higgins, Mark Williams, Mark Selby, and then obviously the legacy of who's going to carry the game going forward. Talking about the new batch of players that have come to the front. So yeah, it's just from the beginning of my career towards the end of it, and then kind of like passing the baton on, sort of, so to speak.
And how many have you done?
We done 3. Yeah, it was good fun. Could have done 33. You know, you've got so much time on your hands at the moment. You know, so, highlight my lockdown so far.
Have you got a chance to do much snooker?
No, to be honest, that's the one thing I haven't missed is playing, you know, so that's been fantastic, you know. Yeah, just getting, you know, doing a little bit of exercise, you know, going out on my bike through the forest. I've become like a bit of a removal guy as well. Up and downstairs, I wouldn't mind, but we live in a townhouse. You know, I'm lucky I've still got a back in place.
Sounds like you're keeping fit.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
How did you find doing the sort of remote interview thing? Was it a bit weird to start off with, or did it feel reasonably natural?
You know, because we've done so much work with Eurosport over the years, at first, you know, it's all kind of new to you, but, you know, you get used to working with the guys. You know, you start to understand it, how they improvise, and, you know, they just come up with content. Sometimes you hit a thing and you go, well, what do we do now? And you have to kind of be a bit proactive. This is just another, you know, another time where they've had to do something like that. So yeah, but I mean, just it was good to be able to do some stuff, and hopefully the snooker fans enjoy it.
Is each episode about half an hour?
Yeah, half an hour. Yeah.
Right.
There's 3 half hours with Ronnie, and then we've got another 4 half hours, which are again led by Andy Goldstein, creating a bit of a debate show with Neil Folds and Jimmy White, talking through the greatest match of all time, etc., etc.
All right, take care all, and thanks, Ronnie, for spending a bit of time doing this. As I say, they're quite short and sweet, these things.
They keep them coming.
Nice one. I hope you enjoyed this Broadcast Tech Talks podcast. Please subscribe now, and we'll see you soon.